see it, but it's just would have been just right across the road there where Amok is.
Amok is the one. Amok, yeah.
I'm thinking this really all started in the rugby club when you two met, a rugby club dance. I don't know whether
that's that part of the story. Peter got a few details wrong now.
Okay. So was that what you meant?
But no, minor details. But that one was right.
Oh, good, okay. Because it does seem like that was. I'm trying to think of what sort of was the 80s, was it, or do you know when that was?
Oh my God, no, it was the 60s.
60s. Oh wow, that's fantastic. Wow.
90s. No,
60s, yes.
Right, okay.
Well, you see, I joined a rugby club in 1966 straight after press.
Right, okay.
I played out there for, nearly in my late 30s when I finished playing golden oldies and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
But I knew a lot of the guys. That's how I came to Greystones first. Although Claire was originally from Greystones.
There you go. So that's what I was thinking. You probably No, so I know that it was your grandfather left Bassiano, I think it's called.
Bassiano.
There you go.
Yeah.
In 1904, he went to Derry, and then when the wall was up, they went down to Thomas Street in Dublin, then they went to Athlone, and then they finally landed in Bray.
Yeah.
And what sort of time frame was that then? I don't know, Bray must have been the early 60s then, was it? Or?
No, 1949.
Okay, right.
1949 I came to Bray from Athlone.
Right.
And I was due to be born in Dublin, but I arrived 3 weeks early and I was born in Athlone. So I'm the only culture with a Dublin accent and Italian descent.
And you were one when you moved to Bray, I think, was
Only
it?
one, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So was the family already deeply into the food side of it? Were they already?
Well, I was born up in the fish and chip business.
Right. Okay.
I was born and reared in it, until I married Claire, and I left and went off to do my own thing.
Right.
Claire was.
My brother had a bakery.
Yeah.
There you go.
I trained there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Claire, of course, then was working with her mum. They had a bed and breakfast down in Bray from the time she was very young, working in that because her dad had passed away when she was quite young. So she had to work there. So we had a work ethic as well. Yeah.
So I'm thinking now, you get married at the Holy Redeemer, you have your big hoo-ha in the International Hotel. I don't know whether even at that stage you kind of had an idea, both of you, that we could do something of our own, or was that already was that very early on in the relationship that you recognised?
I'd say it probably was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it a big decision? Because opening any kind of business is
big, yes.
Right.
Major.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Right.
And very hard at the beginning. Big struggle at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Greystones was really a commuter town. A lot of people went out during the day to Dublin to work, and it was kind of quiet. It's much different now,
Yeah. So was it I don't know if I'm trying to put it all together now. So the family in Bray, had they already started any kind of food business that?
No, just that's the shop on the Vivi where we grew up in the house, and the one on the seafront which was seasonal.
Okay.
3 months of the year, and then I. About 1972, 2 years after I got married, I went to work in the bakery.
Right.
And then I went to study in Kevin Street for 3 years.
Okay.
From 73 to 76 in National Bakery School.
Right.
And I qualified there in 1976 and never looked back. It was great,
So Greystones were open sort of 74, 75? Or?
Yeah, 74.
Okay.
May 74, I think it was, yeah. Or 34 years down there.
Wow.
Now, think about it.
Can you remember the feeling? Was it one of I'm sure there was a certain amount of fear, but it must have been quite joyous to finally open up.
Very exciting, but it was also quite stressful.
Right.
Hairy.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking the hours must have been.
It was the turnover. There wasn't enough really at the very beginning. It was kind of a hard struggle to kind of get up and running and whatever,
Right.
And it was a kind of a.
Once we did, we were.
Yeah, and it was a kind of one of the first delicatessens. We were trying to move into a delicatessen kind of a theme where all our shelves in the shop were full of all these chestnuts and all that kind of stuff, And I remember Graham O'Sullivan's had opened in town, but the supermarkets hadn't done it yet.
Right.
So we had put that stuff on the shelves. Plus the fact that Claire was making all the salads and doing all the pâtés.
Quite ahead of your time, really, because that's the regular thing now. But then, yeah.
Well, Liam now, our brother, Claire's
My brother was in the business in Bray, so it was really from that we, if you like, wasn't it, Tino?
Yeah, because the shop was called Muffins.
I remember
after the shop in Bray,
yeah.
Muffins, and another Muffins in Greystones, and then we all opened together, 3 of us together opened it, and we dived into it, and we did our best, and we stuck at it. We stuck on it really at the beginning,
Well, obviously you did become so embedded in the town and become very popular. Did that take a long time? Did it take 5 years, 10 years? I don't know if you felt good about it early on, that you knew you'd made the right decision.
I'd say.
I think because of the rugby thing, people would be walking up and down the road, so there's Tino, and then it was a small town. In
Right.
74 there was what, I don't know how many thousand people were in it, but it wasn't like it is now.
3,000.
And once people knew you were there, then they came back because your product was good, and they came back for more and more and more, and that kept us on our toes. To keep the product right, keep the quality there. Because then the supermarkets came in, and they were starting to put stuff on the shelves that we were selling, and they were selling a little bit cheaper. So we had to compete on quality, really price, and people responded to it. Greystones was great for that. They responded really well to it.
Very good. A person called Frances Burke working with us.
All right.
And when my children were small, she kind of ran the shop at Greystones for a long time, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. It was very, very good for us.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Did you had 4 kids, I think, was it? Or,
Yeah,
so that was obviously, that's a full-time job in itself.
yes, well,
yeah.
When we look back on it now, we don't know if we had time to do all we did, you know. But it was like everything else. Give a busy man a job.
Right.
You know.
Right. It's like the old thing, if you live on top of a hill, you'll walk up that hill every day to get home. You just have to do it, you do it. Yeah.
You do.
So was I don't know if there was ever a wobble, whether there was a time when you thought, oh, so we'll have to change our way of doing things, we'll have to change our branding or anything like that. Because it seemed to be, to me, just a solid...
We did change. We only had we had no coffee shop at the beginning, and
Okay.
then we opened a room at the back into a coffee shop,
Yes.
and took a lot of the shop, the
Shelving
stuff
down because we weren't selling it.
down.
All right.
The supermarkets were cheaper, so we couldn't sell it.
So it was kind of difficult. So we just changed as we
And we
went.
developed into more of rolls, sandwiches, high quality product,
takeaway,
and
lasagna,
like Christmas time was
Pate,
fun.
cheeses,
Yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Claire would tell you about the pate. I used to go out by the bucket load on Christmas week. Yeah.
Well, you are kind of, the patron saint of the Greystones coffee shop, because now every second shop seems to be...
A coffee shop.
Yeah.
When we arrived down here, the copper kettle was there.
Right.
That was it. That was basically it.
Then people's habits have changed. Everybody goes out for coffee now. People didn't years ago. Sure, they didn't.
Well, it's like it's gone from the pint to the coffee, like
Yes,
people
it is.
spill my
That's
cappuccino
that's
is
their
the...
social
Yeah.
out.
I think people just feel much more comfortable going out in the daytime, having a coffee,
I
than
think
going
you're
out at
right.
night.
Well, it was amazing because when we opened first, we used to sell. The trade name was Bewley's Coffee.
Right.
And we used to do the percolating stuff, and then after a while, people started going away on holidays, coming back and saying, "Have you got a cappuccino? Have you got a flat white? Have you got a latte?" So we bought a beautiful big Gadget machine,
Nice.
proper coffee machine, and then the coffee sales went through the roof. It was brilliant. It was really brilliant. We reacted to it again really positively.
Coffee became a treat, as much as people would have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee as a normal kind of perk, now it became like a dessert treat almost, like a specialist little kind of sweet
right.
thing. And
People know.
that would have been, that would have been very early. Was that into the 80s or 90s?
Yeah, it was a bit later.
Right.
Yeah, much
Okay.
later. Yeah. We just had to adapt. We had to just because in a business like that, it was a constant vigil because because it was exploding. People were going on holidays, going back and say, where's a shop that can do that product? Right. We bought this in Spain. We bought this in Italy. We're coming up by it over here. Then we were doing the salamis and we were doing the cheeses and all that kind of stuff. Right. And it really became very, very. It became kind of very more interesting, but more competitive and harder. Which you had to keep there. You had to keep up at that level. Otherwise,
would there be like an average day? Was it like a 5 o'clock start, 6 o'clock start? I don't know what to
Well, no, in the bakery now I'd start at about 5:30.
Wow.
And I would bake all the product down as we opened the shop. After I had left my brother-in-law's down in Muffins,
right.
I opened their bakery up in the Bog Hall Shopping Centre.
Right.
And that coincided with us buying out his share in the shop here.
Okay.
So we produced our own product there. So we were still in control of everything. We were in control of our French breads, our brown breads, all our stuff that we made sandwiches with. The only thing we couldn't replicate because it was a massive thing to do was the sliced pan, which was a popular sandwich. I mean, a sliced pan sandwich in those days was still very popular.
Sure,
I always say with 3 things that never go out of fashion: sliced pan, apple tart, and chips.
Nice.
They're the 3 things that never go out of fashion.
Well, the 3 main food groups, aren't they? In Ireland, that's the 3 main
so
food groups.
that was, and then of course we had our French breads and our brown breads, and then Claire's then fillings. The Happy Pear, before the Happy Pear were there was a vegetable shop there, or a fruit and vegetable, and we used to buy product from them.
That was Charlie's, that was my brother, yeah.
Is that your brother?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Not as good looking as me, of course, that's why you probably
That's why I didn't recognise him.
That's it.
Charlie, he did
years.
great business with Jerry.
Yeah.
He had great product.
He went
Well, he was very proud of the place, he was very particular.
He did very well.
Daly was in there at the market and really wanted to be kind of good stuff like yourselves. Yeah.
But you wouldn't think we'd buy big bags of white cabbage to do the coleslaw.
Buy the whole big bag.
Yeah, and then we buy the tomatoes and the lettuce and all that kind of stuff.
We did everything fresh every day. Boiled our eggs, everything was totally fresh every day.
Yeah. Which must have been, I'm sure, as much as it was hard work, there must have been a kind of a satisfaction from knowing that, Yeah, you're doing it obviously the way you wanted to do it, but it was good stuff. It wasn't.
I always said I wouldn't give anybody anything to eat that I wouldn't eat myself.
Right.
If it wasn't fresh enough, throw it out.
And Claire is very
I was
particular.
very
what she
particular
eats.
like that, you know.
And that's a huge thing
Yeah,
because
and I
you know
thought
people
paid to do
do recognise that on a subliminal level.
Yeah.
Obviously, the food is
Yeah.
tasty and all that. You feel it, but when that kind of attention where you actually care.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a small enough town to sort of know people, almost everybody walking in the door.
Without a doubt.
And that was a huge thing. You kind of know the
And it was a
person.
communal thing at the beginning. It was community knew that we were there, and that you know that we had been there. And then the longer we were there, people say, well, it's part of the town now.
Yes.
Whereas at the beginning we were coming down because from Bray we were saying, I wonder how it'll go in Greystones, because we had an idea that something down in Greystones was needed at that time, and we just kind of discussed it before we opened it up. And we said, well, have a go at it, have a bash at it. So look enough, we got it from the Foxes, who a butcher shop that were there.
Okay.
You might remember that.
Yeah, I have a picture of that, actually,
And they were our landlords, and they were very nice, great people to deal with, really nice people.
So when it came to you know the end, like deciding to well, you know what, we can't, you know, we'd like to sort of retire a little bit. Was that a long night kind of conversation, or?
For me, it was. I was the one working in the shop all
Right.
the time, and I found it was physically just too much.
Right.
Just too much hard work. We would queues out the door every day, but I just couldn't do it.
Right.
And if you weren't there, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work if you weren't there.
And we decided our kids were all reared, all gone to school, and we said our arms are working, our legs are working. and the thing that people always said to us was that if you want to retire, when you retire, make sure that you make the decision yourself, rather than being sick and have to make it, or your business goes bang and you have to get out. But we decided voluntarily that we make that decision. And as you can see from the reaction we've had now recently, it worked. We did a good job, and we got. And we've no regrets.
Well, you kind of stood up the band, but you're still having hits. So that's the main thing. Yeah. You didn't wait until you were all sort of a record didn't sell it.
They're the second album.
So was it an odd feeling then to have given over so much of your daily life to this wonderful shop? Was it take hard
Yes,
a
it was
long
a
time to get
change.
used to not being?
It was a change.
Well, my body clock was going off for months after. Waking me up in the morning.
At the beginning, it was like your routine was gone. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was a little adjustment, but it was a good adjustment.
They call that cold pate when you're having to sort of get away from run a place.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but it was a contest, and it was a decision that we never regretted, because people were saying to us, "Oh, you're workaholics, you work. You want to have to do something when you retire." Right. After 3 weeks, I said to myself, "What have I done this year?" You know? But no, it was because we were mentally happy and mentally delighted to do
Well,
it.
the job done would have been the feeling, as opposed to we didn't quite finish this or that, or I haven't quite.
No.
You scratched that itch pretty
We
well.
did. It was great.
So, what is your average day now? This is it?
I never know. I don't know when I had time to work. We've 9 grandchildren, and all the family. Well, thankfully, like none of our family. When I come from immigrant people, none of our family have ever gone away. All my children, all our children are living in Bray within 5 minutes drive of us, and all the grandchildren are there as well. So you know, you get a phone call, say, "Dad, are you available for?"
Oh, that's terrific.
It's great. Oh, we love it. We love it. And really, we're in Bray, and I play a bit of golf.
Bridge and busy.
Well, you are the Starbucks of Greystones. You could franchise it still. You could just go out there. And
You never know. No. But as the fella says, I've been there, done that, wore the t-shirts.
Well, I'll just say, well
done. The
done.
funny thing is, people say to me all the time, "My God, you can't get a sandwich like you sold. You can't get the food you sold. Why did nobody copy you?" But nobody copied us. We don't know why.
I think there's an element of the the homemade almost, because you know the person and because it's your local, and I mean now of course you still find a great deli somewhere, but there's something very special about almost a home away from home, not only for you guys but for us.
People come in and said, "I don't want coleslaw, I don't want mayonnaise, I don't want an onion." That was done. They got this exactly so. It went to a shelf, say pre-made sandwiches are there. Let's take one. I don't really like the onion, but it's the only one I want.
I wouldn't eat a pre-made sandwich.
Right, there you go.
Wouldn't take one off the shelf.
You know, it's been sitting there. Chances are it's just not as fresh as it could be and should be. Well, on behalf of all the chubby people in Greystones and the healthy people in Greystones, just say thanks a million for all that gorgeous food. And all that
Pleasure. It was a pleasure.